It is more important than having intelligence or having natural gifts, because no matter what, you're going to go through these obstacles, especially when you set goals that are well outside your current skill level or well outside your current comfort level. Because even the individuals that have these natural talents and are what look like they're born to be that way, even they will be outworked or outachieved by the person that has the patience and the perseverance to see it through as far as they can take it. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you have to achieve the specific goal that you set out for. Because the most beautiful part about it, and the thing that has also been able to build me up step by step when it came from one domain, which was the physical, to the next domain, which was the mental and academic, and even now, which is more of the personal, of, like I said, being on YouTube and speaking my mind and wanting to work and help people on a broader level. Because I have been working with people for the last 10 years, create healthier lifestyles through fitness, and even mentally as well through motivation and physical therapy, because there is a whole lot more to personal training and physical therapy than it is just physical. There's an emotional and there's a mental component to it to help people not only start this journey, but carry it through. And going back to what I said about how it's almost irrelevant if you actually achieve that specific goal or not, because the main benefit of not only setting a goal, but having the self-belief and the confidence to pursue it, is that journey is going to make you a completely different person by the end of it, especially the longer you stick to it. And that was one of the big things that actually gave me the motivation to set up a camera and start talking to it and pursue my goal of being able to work with more people from anywhere and at any time. Because now I can just sit down, speak to a camera whenever I have the time or whenever I want to or need to, or whatever the case may be, and have the ability to speak directly to more people than the one-on-one interactions that I'm normally having in the clinic or in the gym. And the thing that got me over that fear is, no matter what happens, whether this turns into something or not, or I make it into that thing that I envision in my head, it's going to be a good thing for me regardless. I can't lose by going down this new journey in my life. One of which being is because it has scared me so much. Putting myself on camera, speaking my mind, having however many potential people to see it, and even on the off chance, it's not even an off chance, it's part of that journey, is the criticisms as well as the positive affirmations as well. And being okay with those two things, because that is part of the journey. And that is part of the getting over the fear, and what's going to turn who I am now into a completely different person at the end. And the same thing is true for you. Whatever that goal is that you're setting for yourself, if it's just physical, or if there's a mental component to it as well, or all of the above, no matter what happens, the longer you stick to it, at the end, you're going to look at yourself differently and life a little differently. And I was grateful that fitness was one of the first passions that I had, and one of the first obsessions, if you will, that I had, because the lessons I learned in fitness just carried over into everything in life. And that's why I'm really passionate about helping people really achieve their goals in fitness, because there are so many things in life that you cannot control. It's just how it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing that you always can control is yourself and your body. In this small environment that is just totally you. What you put into it, how you move it, how you take care of it, nobody can take that away from you. And that sense of control that you get, and after you realize that you can change your body to look the way you want it to, or to have it feel the way that you want it to, it can be very invigorating, especially at first. And if it's new to you, it's inspiring. And so even with that, there's no difference between the lessons you learned there and changing it into something else, whether it's a new career or now it's an educational goal that you have. That playbook or that system that you've created, that belief system within yourself, can now just be changed into that next thing. And you realize again that if you have the patience and you have the perseverance, whatever you choose to follow and whatever path you're going down, no matter what happens at the end, as long as you have those two factors to carry it as far as you can until either it's a dead end, or I would even say this, it never is a dead end. So let me backtrack. It never becomes a dead end. There is always a new path that comes off of it. And then you do the same thing with that next path. And the more paths that you go down and the farther you take those paths, the more you as an individual change and evolve and grow into the best version of yourself. And by that, you learn more about life itself. And I believe that is one way in which we gain wisdom about life, like on a spiritual level, which is just as important as all of these other external things that we're going after, to try to achieve and accomplish and all of these things. At the end of the day, what is it all for? A lot of times it's so that we feel better about ourselves. And these accomplishments help us, give us reasons to feel better about ourselves. But when you have that awareness during the process, right, it becomes more about the journey than the accomplishments themselves. And I have found that, whatever it is, the biggest goals, getting there is always the most invigorating, because once you're there, it never lasts. And it reminds me of a phrase I remember reading a while ago, and it said, "Beyond mountains are more mountains." So when you climb that peak and you make it to the top and you accomplish that goal, there's always going to be another one. So enjoy the process, and by not letting impatience or lack of perseverance derail you from those things that you really desire, and let your pursuit of them be the thing that brings you the joy. And I think with that mindset, the things that you are destined to have and the things that are really meant for you will be the things that you accomplish. And the things that you don't probably were really never meant for you anyway. And that in its own right could be a blessing until the next one. And so if you made it this far, thank you for watching. And I hope that some of these ideas were coherent enough to follow, because like I said, I didn't really plan anything or write anything down. I just had that idea, and I wanted to just speak off the cuff. And so again, I appreciate it, especially if you made it all the way to the end. And so that's all I have today. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.